Well, here we are in my living room, fucking dicking around with some shit, but watching a few videos on YouTube. About all I watch anymore. I can't stand fucking TV. Shit kills me to have to even try to watch it. But I watched a lot of shit on YouTube. I was watching this old boy's video about cams and shit. There's a few videos out there with all the formulas and this and that and other for figuring out your optimum combo. But most people leave out shit. If you're familiar with roller cams, this don't apply to you, because you should already know. But everybody starts with their first one at some point. So if you ain't never used a roller cam in a non-roller block, like for example, this fucking engine I'm currently putting together, it's a 1972 355 small block Chevy. I'm trying to do it cheap as I can, but there's no such a thing as cheap with this shit really anymore. It adds up. But it's a 72 block, so obviously it didn't come from the factory with a roller cam, so you gotta go with the retrofit. Like tie bar lifters. You don't have none of that spider, none of that shit. You just have two lifters with a link bar connecting them. Keep them lined up. But a lot of people leave out the details of the shit. Like roller cams, like a flat tappet cam, the way the fucking lobes are ground, they push the cam back in the block, so it pretty much pulls itself back. You don't need a button. Roller cams, they're flat, so the fucking cam can walk forward in the block, depending on how much clearance you got. But if you got too much, that fucker walks forward. It retard your fucking timing and shit, and possibly strip your fucking distributor gear. Worst case scenario, a fucking lobe hit another lifter. So you want to limit that Endplay, like when you get your timing chain and shit on, your upper gear, you get your button and your lock plate and shit to hold it in place, and you have your plug off the back of the block where the cam is. You set up a dial indicator, a magnetic base, and measure how much in play that motherfucker's got. Typically about 3 thousandths, about 3 to 10 thousandths is acceptable range. I like to keep mine on the lower end of the scale. Figure a compressed, like a Felpro timing chain cover gasket, or just your typical cork gasket. Compressed is like a 1/1000th and a half or so thick. So you get your cam gear and shit in there, you get your button, you get your timing cover bolted on, and you measure how much forward movement that cam has in the block. And if you're past 10, you're gonna have to make a correction, which really 10's too fucking much in my book, but they say it's acceptable. I like mine about 5, maybe a touch less, 4 or 5 thousandths has always worked for me. But a roller cam, like I said, I'm running a solid roller cam in this engine. So you got several types of buttons. This is just your fucking, it's just an aluminum spacer. It goes into the cam. That plate and shit holds it on. Limits your travel in between the cam and the center of the timing cover. But I've run plenty of these, and if you need less clearance or more clearance, you can always grind on these fuckers and pretty well dial it in. That's a Engine Pro Racing, pretty cheap, made in USA. And then I got this old stock Wolverine Blue Racer. It's a needle bearing unit, cam limiter. It has fucking needle bearings in there, and this shit spins independent of the other part of it. This one here, it's probably from the fucking 80s, 1980s, never used. Wolverine Blue Racer. They ain't been around in a while. That's new old stock. But these ones with the roller bearings, like buy a cheap Chinese fucker, you gotta worry about that sumbitch coming apart and them needle bearings ending up in your engine. And that shit's not exactly ideal. So that's one reason I like these solid ones on a lot of shit, but these here, that one's built real good. I've used, that's pretty much a Crane owned Wolverine. So that's a quality unit, made in Michigan back in, I'm thinking 1980s. But you get your button, you establish your fucking fore and aft play, which whatever type of timing chain cover you use also is going to determine, like them cast aluminum timing chain covers you see on a lot of shit. They expand more after they heat up. So you can add about 1.5 thousandths to what they are cold. So if you run one of them at 1.5 thousandths, 2,000, and then the fucking gasket, you're about 4 thousandths warm. Them aluminum ones, I've run a few of them Chloe's with the button built in and shit. They cost a fortune, and they're nice, but they're not absolutely necessary. You can get these fucking RPCs here with the reinforced center area there. It's dirt track shit. So that's a good strong fucking timing cover. It's thicker than a stock one, but it's reinforced in the middle there for a roller cam. So that'll work for me. Then you got a timing chain. You don't want to just stick a fucking stock timing chain in your shit. You got a big solid roller with fucking 600 pound plus open valve spring pressure and shit. 250 on the seat. That's a lot of fucking pressure. One of them old nylon link belt stock type timing chains. Those things stretch out if you look at them hard. So you want to get a good fucking timing chain. You have to spend a little more money. If you're paying $25-30 for your timing chain, then you got the wrong one. But I've combed the timing chain selections and found about the best deal for the money for what I'm trying to do here. This is a SA gear, and what makes it special, they got the dual roller timing chains, but most of them cheap ones, they're not really roller timing chains, they're just double roll, and they got like .200 diameter pins, and they're not built out of the best shit. But this is a true roller timing chain. It's a .250 pins, and the chain rolls on the fucking gears. It actually rollers. And with a roller cam, you want some kind of fucking thrust bearing. They make some that have needle bearings, but they kind of make me nervous. And then you got just a fucking bushing go on there, protect the front of your block from where it's being pushed back. But this is a good fucking timing chain here. This unit is about $75. But it's on par with units that cost a hell of a lot more. So, like I said, for the money, it was about the best fucking deal going for the quality. You want a good, strong fucking timing chain with the big roller cam. You got your 9 keyway, made in USA. Adjustable sprocket, so you degree your shit in, advance it or retard it or do whatever the fuck you want with it. But this is a good set, about $75. You got the fucking Torrington bushing, goes on the back side between the block. That's the part number on that. Sprockets made in USA, chain made in India. But that's a good one. SA gear. It's comparable to chains that cost $100 plus, $150 chains and shit. So there's some people selling this exact chain for quite a bit more than I paid for this one, but I shop around, look for my best deal, try to save money every way possible, because save a penny here, you put it towards something else, but you still want to get the good shit to hold up to what you're trying to do. And like I said, you don't want to throw a stock fucking timing chain in with a 675 lift solid roller cam. Stretch that motherfucker out like fucking Stretch Armstrong. And you just want to get some good bolts. They ain't really gotta be nothing fucking fancy. I ain't never seen one break like these. It's a fucking, just a grade 8 fucking cam bolt. You got a lock plate to bend the tabs over to keep the bolt from backing out. This plate holds the button and the end of the fucking timing chain. You're gonna need that kind of shit. Forgot what that is. It was some brand, but I took it out of the package a while back. And this one's a Pioneer. It's also, they're pretty cheap, but more than sufficient. Torque and bolts to 20 foot-pounds with Loctite. You're good to go. But the button all goes back to how you feel about it. I have seen the roller buttons, the fucking needle bearings come apart in them and shit over long-term use, like running them on the street for a lot of miles and shit. But they've, you know, also seen them fucking last long enough to go through several different engines. So I'll probably use this Wolverine unit here, and this 355 I'm working on. And then to run 650 plus pound valve springs, of course you're gonna want some good rocker arms. I just happen to have these Harlan Sharps for a 7/16 stud. These fuckers allegedly take 1,000 pounds of fucking valve spring pressure. I've been using them for years and ain't never broke one. So they are tough. Been around, hell, I think they were the fucking original roller rockers. First company started making the damn things. So, if anybody knows about rocker arms, I would say it would be them. I think they started up around 1960. But these here, they're not very old. They might be 10 years old, but they probably don't have 1,000 fucking miles on them, so they'll be fine. But they'll withstand the pressure. I got the block and everything, and it's been so fucking cold and shit. Too cold to paint, and water holes froze up, and too cold to wash a fucking block. So the weather got me fucked around. So I've been assembling cylinder heads and going through parts and arranging shit and getting it all ready for the big show. There's the little details about running a retrofit roller cam in a old school small block Chevy. You're gonna have to control that Endplay, the cam walk fore and aft. Try to keep it around 5 thousandths if at all possible. It works for me. You get it too fucking tight and gonna cause problems, but you get it too fucking loose, it'll also cause problems. So you gotta get it just right. There's a little info on retrofit roller cams.